Alright, got something a little different in here today. I done dropped y'all already. Alright. It's just a little Harbor Freight pump. Nothing special on it. The only kicker on this, it's had one or two tanks of gas run through it. What it was, the guy was filling a pond with it. He had bought it actually brand new, I think a day or two before it happened. And he was filling his pond up. There was a little creek next to it, and had it sitting kind of on like a creek bank, it just sitting in some dirt kind of. And he went to put some gas in it because he didn't want to shut it off, just gas it back up so he finished filling it. Well, lost his footing and dumped gas on was running, and it caught fire. So basically all he did was just take it and bury it in dirt. Not bury it completely, but threw dirt on it, got the fire out. But what's happened? There's dirt in the fuel tank, and it's rusty, so I'm going to change it. Air cleaners melted on it. And he said there was some fire back behind the pull start on it, so I'm going to see. We're going to tear this, not tear it apart, but basically this is going to be, I'm just going to get the tins off of it, air filters, stuff like that, just the cosmetic stuff on the outside. It doesn't have a lot of hours on it. I've got a whole nother motor. Probably be easier just to swap it, but what I'm worried about is inside here there's a seal that goes on the shaft. I don't want to mess with them. I've dealt with these in the past, not the same ones, but older ones, and what they would do is start leaking water. So I'm just going to get this right here fixed. So these little motors here are pretty easy. I'll get y'all set up right here. Anything on the outside of these, a 10, 8, and a 10 millimeter socket is all you need. So I am curious what that doesn't do it too bad, but it's melted to it. Alright. These are basically like a little Honda clone. To get the air filter off. I may have to, well, they vacated. Wasp nest. I don't know if I can get this out with this on here. Alright, well, it's holding me. Oh. These actually have a tube, these newer ones. This is the tank vent. It runs from here down to the bottom of the breather. Show you another one. Actually, I need to get the blow gun and blow this off. And then there's a crankcase vent, goes from here to the housing. These air filter assemblies, they're just two nut holes and on slides on the studs. I don't know if the carb's good or not. I know there's water in the fuel tank. It is shut off. But I'm probably just going to swap carburetors on it. Let me get some of these leaves there. This is kind of something that's been sitting out by the shed. Hopefully the compressor's not too loud. It'll shut off here in a second. Pull that crankcase breather tube off. And yep, that's what I thought. Alrighty. Looks like we're gonna have to take the whole thing loose. Yep. Yay me. But that's how we used to take let's get y'all close in here a little bit. All right, go-karts. This is how we would get the studs off of these in a pinch. Put one nut on, if it'll go. Yeah, we got enough threads. Put one nut on backwards. Like so. And you don't have to get these super tight. Usually, oh, I don't have enough on there. Usually, they're not in there that stout. And then take the other one and run it down up against it and tighten it. And then, yep, that didn't work. So, these are flange nuts. It may not work with these. Let me go back doing it the other way. What you're gonna do is take two nuts, put one basically, let me get this off here, look at it. Give you a little better visual on it. You're gonna take both of these, hold a wrench on one side, and tighten the other side. And then you can take a wrench and back the inside one out. What they're gonna jam together is unscrew the carburetor stud. And so I don't have to dig the wrench set out. I have a break in case of emergency 10mm wrench. So let me run that one down. Oh, there we go. That's got enough on it. And I'm going to run this actually against it. I don't know if I can get the wrench to stay in there or not. It might. And nope, not going to work. Okay. Yep, plan B. Let's take the motor loose. I want to get this fuel tank off here first because I hear water sloshing in it and I don't want to make a mess. There's only 3 bolts holds these on. There is one, I don't know, it's hard for y'all to see. One right there by my finger that goes through the block into it. And there you get a little bit better of the kind of carnage. And there's one here and one here. So let me get these off here. Actually, all this coming off anyway. I'm replacing it. Give it. If anybody wants to know what these are, I have no idea. I know it's maybe some kind of diode or whatnot. I'm not sure. Well, that singed that whole connector together. I know this wire that I'm unplugging right here is just a low oil shutdown. It's a kind of a float switch that if the oil gets low, it more or less is the same as flipping the kill switch and grounds the wire in the coil. I got a feeling when I get this open that the coil is going to be kind of burn up on it. Or not the coil, the plug wire or the fan's going to be open. Oh, that's 8. 8 and a 10. That's about every fastener on these. And move the throttle. Yep. Pull the spark plug boot off. I know the coil's got to be replaced anyway. And the fuel line. And the fuel line of these is not even attached. Well, that's good enough. It is melted off. So let me go toss this out real fast. Well, I don't have to worry about any fuel being in it. Alright, now that's out of the way. Some of these leaves out of here. It's actually what's left of the fuel line. Now, just get some of this stuff. Get this 4 bolts holds this blower cover on. And if you ever have to replace the pull start on these, it's 3 bolts on the outside, takes it off. I'm just gonna put the whole other cover and everything I got. And it's kind of the same for the generators too. Not really much to these little motors. I am curious to see what I'll burn up. Oh yeah. Huh. Still got dirt in it. Yeah. Because the other motor I got, I'm going to build it for a cart motor, I think. Huh. Miraculously, the pull start survived. Well, better. Huh. Yeah. I do know that socket is a 3/4, and that just holds the fan on. Get the coil out of the way. Kind of get. I've got a bunch of these coils laying around somewhere. Where are you at? All right. And on the top of these blocks, there's a little pins in here that it kind of zigzags through. Just to, all it does is keep the wire from rubbing, getting pinched and whatnot. And on these spark plug boots, a little tip on these, if you ever break one of these, I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not. Let me get it broke loose. Most of these, just thread on. You pull the boot back, yep. They just loosen, thread out. So instead of changing the coil, you can always get just the ends on them. Pull that back through. Alright, get that old rotted fuel line off here. Carburetor may actually be clean on this, but I doubt it. I can't remember, I don't know if he drained it or not. Yeah, I'll get that out there in a minute. Yep, still got dirt down in there. Yeah, I want to make a good little hose. Get the air hose again. Yeah. Get this. Don't know if this is going to come off there or not. No, there we go. And a little crispy. And I think on these Predators, I believe you can use a Honda GX200 air filter. I think they're all pretty much about the same. Ducar, Honda, the Duramax. Don't really see much of these. I know y'all, it's shaky, I apologize. I'm using a table. Don't really have to take this loose. I'm just trying to get a little more room in here. And on these clones, if you ever take these governor rods out, always make note what hole the spring's in and the linkage. And these little small springs help a lot. It keeps the, if there gets any, this is pretty tight, but they'll get some slop in the hole over the time, over the years, or hours and stuff. And what those little springs do are take up the slack in it. Just to kind of keep them pulled tight so it doesn't, tries to keep the RPM from hunting. Yeah. I'm going to have to still got stuff there. I know. Didn't have air filter on it. I know. And my Brady was pretty tough. Yeah, these are never very tight. When we'd race them, most of them, if they had a lot of compression, that's still alright. Normal side, melted side. So, don't have to, I mean, these are not going to come off of here. If you ever have to take these fly wheels off, I don't recommend this, but this is the way I do them. So, do this at your own risk. You can damage stuff. I've done this a lot and had any trouble, but take the nut that threads on here, and all these crankshafts always have just a hair bit of play. End play from forward to back. Well, let's get the internet going. Pry bar, claw hammer. Don't pry much, just get a little pressure behind it, and you'll see it move. And right in the front, well, this is pretty tight. And turn it to the other side. If you hit it square right in the front, it helps. Yep, okay, this thing's gonna make a wire out of me. So I can get up here and get a little better swing on it. Sometimes you have to put two. Yep, okay, this is not gonna come off. So it's staying on there. I'll sand that up. This is probably rusted on there. Most of the ones I pull apart are new. I don't know if I can get to that. But sometimes I have to take a screwdriver in each end and pull back on it, hit it in the middle, and it'll pop loose. They make a puller for them, but I just use them. These things are usually built cheap and not on there real tight. All right, now that's out of the way. Let me loosen these. If you ever have to tilt these up, tilt them with the carburetor up, preferably like this with no fuel in it, because all the oil will run out to the valve cover and out to the out in the air filter and make a mess. You know what? I may just take all this off here. Just to make this easier. I need to clean it anyway. And thug. Yeah, dissecting this a little more than I wanted to, but it's all right. Got more room now anyways. Got some more standoffs on the back. Hanging it up. There we go. He bought another one, used it. I'm just doing this for him as a kind of a favor. Here's how it is fairly new. Ish. You know, I'm gonna change my mind on this. I may just put the whole motor on it. It looks better anyways. Yeah. Well, now y'all know how to take those apart. The only reason I did this got to come apart anyways. That'll slide off, which this has got to be replaced. It's junk anyhow. There's a thick gasket. It always goes from the air cleaner to the carburetor. Yo. Because this motor here will probably get built into a cart motor, so they have a no governor. Now the way these governors work, if you ever need to adjust the speed, that screw changes your RPM. What it does, when you pull back on this, it pulls on, push that back up. When it's idling, it's back here. It pulls this spring, and that's your throttle. There's a counterweight in the inside them, which if anybody wants to look, see how they come loose, you can get. They're all over the internet how to remove the governor on these. To get this linkage off, slide that back. Take the this little spring. And these things always bend a little bit, but it's all right if they do. Kind of straighten the back. They just kind of a slack. Take slack out of it. Anyways, pull that off there. That's your rod. I am curious what the choke lever that sits on it. I am curious what this carburetor looks like. It's probably junk. I don't really like these SP carburetors anyway. If you're gonna build them for alcohol cart motors, they just it's still got a little bit of gas. That's actually pretty good shape. Look at that. Never would have dreamed that. It's kind of sourish smelling, but I'll set this over here in the good pile just for a spare. Now that I smell like old gas, and well, these just slide off. This is a heat insulator. There's a notch right here in them that when the coil's on, plug wire comes out and curves around. Another notch here for the fuel line. All right, let's commence to get you on the business end. Let me get the wrong tools for the right job. Okay, let's take a wrench. Yep. I know the other motor is missing a fuel cap. I may have one in the shed. I'll just have to go look and see. If not, I'll order one. Well, one thing I do like about these pumps is you can split the housing on them very easily to clean trash or gunk and mud and whatnot out of them. I'm not real crazy about the steel threads and the aluminum housing though. I can see that. First, like I said, these pumps are cheap. They usually only get used once or twice. They're either used once or twice, or they're used all the time and wore out. Hey, anybody's curious, it is a 3-inch pump. He had about a half-acre pond, roughly the size that he used to fill it with, and it filled it. It's pretty impressive. I mean, there's no pressure. It wasn't very far. He had to move water, and it was the middle was probably about 8-10 foot deep, and it run. He started and it run. I think it took probably about a day, half a day or so, and it was about 3/4 of the way full. Now, what's the trick to getting this off? I'm not hitting that aluminum with the claw hammer. I know, and it's going, oh, you're using a claw hammer. Yeah, a hammer's a hammer, even if it's the wrong tool. There we go. These just have a big O-ring, kind of like a bucket O-ring around them. Oh, another wasp nest. Put this down here. And this right here is actually the check valve part of it that comes off. What it does when it's running, draws water in that way, and then when it shuts off, it goes back. That way, if tries to keep them siphoning, or where it holds its prime and it doesn't suck this out dry. Okay, so how do we get this off here? Alrighty. Very interesting. Everybody's probably screaming at me now. Take this loose, take that loose. I just wonder if this just sits in here. Because this, look, it just slides into. Yep. Well, that's very easy to pull apart. Just slides off there. I should do this in the first place. Oh, makes more mess right here. And what are you, 10? Yep. This is the part that's worrying me, is getting this off the shaft and the seal. Sometimes these things slide right off there. This looks like it's going to slide off. Cool. They got a splined crank just like on a. That just slid right off. That's part of that seal I was talking about. So, it's been a minute since I worked on these. Get the keyway out. Right here. And what I recommend on these is how this comes apart is try to, well, we'll just leave that there because I think this will come off with it. And 4 10mm. I don't need extension. Where did the extension go? Not really much to these. And if I'm not mistaken, the thread on the end of these cranks is a 5/16 fine thread, and the thread on the sides is the 5/16 course, I believe. All right. That'll do. All right, just to show you what I should have did in the first place is just unbolt the pump housing, put a new motor on it. But, you know, everybody likes watching stuff get tore down. This will probably be a, quit wiggling. This will probably be the old motor build. You know, I want to show you how to clean that aluminum stuff up. I've had this for a little while. Sorry, had to vacate a spider. For a little while, it is, to my knowledge, it's new. It was I was at Harbor Freight somewhere. Still has the thing on it, the quick start, some of the warning tags. Oh, excuse me. The warning on it, and the bag was on it. It was the display. Now, they come with a keyway right here, but the one on the pump is just that's a long keyway. It's just a little small one. So, usually these will just wiggle right off. Don't need that. Now, let's commence putting this back together. Get y'all set up right here. These little seals that's in here are basically just a spring with I don't know what kind of materials on them. I like to put just a little bit of lubricant on it. WD-40 usually works, just so when I do need to crank it and run it for a second and shut, a little bit and shut it off. That way it's just not just dry seal against metal. All right. Well, I don't know what happened to the footage, getting this back together, but anyways, I just kind of scuffed and rattle canned the frame, got it all bolted back on. What I usually do when I first start them, this is some real good stuff, or there's a couple other companies make them, it's like a pre-mix. I run just a little bit of that in it. Like I said, I'm not going to run this long. There's no water on it. It's not good to run a pump dry. But just to show you, and it's out here in the garage. I got the heat on here. It was cold, but this ain't normal. Not for here at least. But start, kill switch. I never turn these off. Always run them out of gas. Well, maybe it's not going to. Bad $50 motor. But I know, it's a cold motor. So what I'll do is I'll shut the gas off on these and I'll let them run until they run out. I know rarely use the kill switch on them. But it's just a little something I do.